Before I start this lesson, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, or Kakodash, the bond to the apostle, elders, and bishops, great millstone who rule well and teach well. Shalom to 144,000 men that's pushing to believe in this word in all true sincerity and sacrificing their lives and wills to do so. Shalom to the men, women, and children that's tuning in and listening. And shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad on all four corners of the earth. The Heavenly Father named is Yahweh, His only begotten Son named is Yahweh Shai. And Lord, with this video, edifying, quick and straight to the point. This video will be entitled, well, I'm gonna shorten the title, but long story short, the title of this video is Joining with Other Camps and Other Communities Make You an Enemy. Now, in this truth, we have many examples of individuals joining, members of IUIC, INCBK joining up, and members of Sons of Thunder, WFI joining up. And, you know, we have a doctrine, right? We here at GMS have a doctrine that ultimately, and not just ultimately, but if you teach the same thing we teach, then, you know, we're on the same page. But those that don't teach the same thing we teach, y'all completely are against the order of the Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. Now, you know, we have many examples like IUIC and GMS, right? We here at GMS teach something different. Those at IUIC teach something different. You know, they say the name of the Lord don't matter, and you don't need the Hebrew, or you don't know the real Hebrew, or you won't be able to best call on the name of the Lord in Hebrew into the kingdom, or stuff like that. And, you know, that's just one of the many crazy examples. Now, this example, right, I'm using, right, the Sons of Thunder recently took a picture of with a nation of Muslim individuals. Now, if you don't know, right, some of us might not know, but concerning our high priest Elder Abba Bibbins, right? You know, he had a situation with the Muslims, and they, you know, took him out. You know, that's what we believed to happen, right? But, you know, that's neither here nor there. You know, I don't know much of it, but ultimately, at the end of the day, you know, if you're claiming to be a Hebrew Israelite, right, claiming to be, you know, of the Israelite, you're right, Hebrew Israelite, right, you should be in like-mindedness with the scriptures, right? Because why? Everything that's in the scriptures, we have to reflect on, use, and understand in our daily lives. And not just that, especially when it comes to the Lord's house, how you supposed to conduct yourself. You shouldn't be out here mingling doctrines together, you know, teaming up with the enemy. If you're going to be teaming up, if you're going to be taking pictures with the enemy, you know, basically teaching alongside with the Muslims and whatnot, marching and all of that, you know, that means you're an enemy. You're marking yourself. You're making things confusing, and that's a false doctrine. So, you know, the Sons of Thunder have did this. I think IUIC did this too, teaching with the Muslims. I don't know if that was last year or was it earlier. Last year or a few months ago, but I did remember seeing them teaching with the Muslims, right? Including all of the Muslims in this thing of ours, and that's not what we teach and what we do. So this is 2 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 14. Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. So don't be on the same accord with unbelievers. Don't be, you know, now obviously in this world you can't cause problems with those that don't believe, right? Now obviously, you know, if it's outside of this truth, right? Like, let's say you see an individual of the Nation of Islam and they need help, you know, you might help them out or whatnot, right? Cool. But in this truth, right, you don't mix up the doctrine. You don't, oh, well, we are brothers. No, we're not. I was going to say that in these verses I'm about to read. But when it comes to this truth, you cannot be mingling and teaming up with other individuals that are not teaching the same thing that you are, right? For what fellowship have righteousness with unrighteousness? And what communion have light with darkness? So yeah, what place light and darkness are on two different paths and levels, right? You know, you have like in Genesis it says you have the lesser light and you have the sun and the moon, not the sun, well, sun and the moon, light and darkness. What does truth have anything to do with darkness? Because this truth is a light, right? Verse 15, and what concord have Mashiach with Baal, or what part hath he that believeth with the infidel? So what, what the Lord have anything to do with Baal? I said Baal, right? Which is a god, a false god, right? So what, in this truth, what do you have, what's the word I want to use? For lack of better terms, what do you have injunction, or what do you have in common with Baal? Nothing. You shouldn't have nothing mixing or mingling amongst those that are in this that are not in this truth, right? So let me see. Was that verse? Okay, yeah, that was verse 15, right? And what agreement hath the temple of Yahweh with idols, right? So even going back into the Old Testament, right, we had the temple, right? You should not have idols. You shouldn't be sacrificing swine flesh. You shouldn't have anything unholy in the temple. You have things are completely separate. In this truth, we are to be completely separate from those that are not teaching the truth, those that are teaching different doctrines, those that are doing things that are unholy, right? For I read that, as Yahweh have said, I dwell in them and walk in them, and I will be their power, and they shall be my people. So ultimately, those that are doing the will of the scriptures, meaning those that are doing the righteous things, the Lord will dwell with you and be with you and protect you. But those that ain't, the Lord is going to let any manner of thing happen to them. But we in this truth don't supposed to be teaming up with that's why Apostle Hart says no unity camps. We are not in unison with those that teach contrary, or not. We are not in unison with those that teach something completely different. Those that teach the name of the Lord that don't matter. Oh, Edomites can be saved. We are not in none of that. We at GMS have a doctrine that we strictly follow. Those that at IUIC have another doctrine. IUCBK have another doctrine. Sakar, whatever, so on and so forth. We have our own. We follow things according to Scripture, plainly put. So I'm gonna jump into Galatians now. This video ain't gonna be long. I'm gonna jump to the next book after Galatians chapter 1, and I'll start at verse 10. For do I now persuade men or Yahweh, or do I seek to please men? Or if I yet please men, I shall not be the servant of Mashiach. So what? If you're not pleasing man, you're pleasing the Lord. But if you are pleasing man, right, you're not pleasing the Lord, right? So you have to please the Lord and not please man. This thing is not of men. We're not here to please these simple peons. We're not here to please people with a 501c3 charter. We're not here to please those that aren't of are of the same clique as us, as they say. Verse 11, but I certify you, brethren, that the gospel which was preached of me is not of man and not after man. So what? A lot of these false doctrines are what? After man, after false gods, right? So that's the point in that. So if you claim to be a man of the Lord, right, you are supposed to do these things that are written, not to be teaming up with keeping Sabbath day holy, not committing adultery, not teaching things teaching false things. It goes up in the verses too. Teaching falsely, teaming up with others that don't believe of the same part. It was serious back then. In the ancient days, it was serious that if you ain't believe the same God as, these other nations, they'll put you to death for it. And then there's truth. Those that teach of another God or of another doctrine, what? You are to be accursed. And that's in this Galatians actually also. We do not need to be in unison with those that don't believe, because that's confusion. Actually, this is Galatians, back in Galatians chapter 1. And actually, I start at verse 6. I marvel that ye are so soon removed from him that called you into the grace of Mashiach unto another gospel, right? Which is not another, but there be some that trouble you and will pervert the gospel of Yahweh Shai, right? But though we or another angel from heaven preach any other gospel unto you, that which we have preached unto you, let him be accursed. So what is being said and written, that anything that you have been taught by Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and though you teach, right? But if you are taught by Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, right, and you go on to teach something that isn't doctrine, that isn't sound, right, you're to be accursed. You're to be marked. And that goes with the unity too, because a lot of these unity camps do not, if any, all of them don't unify and teach the same thing. They all teach confusion. They teach, this is my brother. Whole time, your brother's supposed to believe in the same things you are too. Supposed to be fighting as you are supposed to be fighting. Pretty plain and simple. It's not hard. It's not nothing to misunderstand or get confused with. So I'm going to close out with this Amos 3 real quick, because it's pretty simple. We are not on the same wavelength. We are not on the same path as these unbelievers. Let these unbelievers die in that unbelief. And what's that? It's Romans 3:3. I was thinking of Romans 3:2 as well as this lesson. This is Amos chapter 3 verse 3, right? Can two walk together except they be agreed? And no, two cannot walk together if they don't agree, right? And those that don't believe will die in their unbelief. Plain, simple as day. There's nothing hard to understand about that. It's pretty plain and simple. Those that are of this truth and know this truth and do what is told in this truth, they will have no problem with it. They will understand it. But those that aren't, those that, we're the same skin. This ain't a thing of skin color. This ain't a thing of how you feel. This is about what the Lord wants and what he says. So Lord willing, this video is edifying. Lord willing, this video is edifying. Before I close, I'd like to give all praise and glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakodash. Lord willing, this video is edifying, and on to the next one. Shalom.